Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Good morning and welcome to Saturday Morning Reel. I am so happy that you decided to join us. I'm Coach Deborah and I am delighted to have you here with us this morning. If you're new to Build Your Best Life, this month our theme is Blueprint for Next Level Learning. Next level. So we are encompassing all the ways and individual aspects of learning. So I hope that you would enjoy our talk. And I want to thank you so much for your prayers and all of your likes, shares, and comments. You know, we love when you share our content, because that means that more people have an opportunity to learn how to build their best lives. So thank you so much. Now, our topic this morning is level up. Level up. So I think it fits right in with the theme. So we are going to get started. Good morning. How are you, Dan? Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. You know, no 2 people are alike. They are different. They talk differently, look different, unless they're identical twins or triplets. And they have different learning styles as well. So what it comes easy, if someone's teaching, it may be just really, really easy for one person, but someone that has a different learning style, it may not be so easy. They may not comprehend it the same way. Have you ever had a situation where someone was trying to teach you something, and no matter how hard they tried, you just were not getting it? It was like, oh my goodness. They give up, and then someone else comes and they try to teach you that same principle, but they teach it in a different way. And you just pick it up like that. Because everyone doesn't teach the same way. Just like we don't learn the same way, people don't teach the same way either. And a lot of you may be able to relate to this one. Have you ever been trying to teach a young child how to add? And, you know, you write it on the paper and you teach them the concept of how they at in school, and they just look at you and it's like, try to guess and they don't get it right. But then you decide, okay, let me give them some items to work with. So you may want them to add 2 plus 3. So you give them these items and you say, okay, select 2 of them, and they select 2. And you say, okay, the next number is 3, select 3. And they select 3, and they say, well, how many do you have now? 5. Okay, because it's a different way that they're having to try to comprehend the information. And so they get it just like that. So as you try to level up, if it's something that is, I would say, topic-based, like, English, physics, algebra, whatever, or it's something else, if you know your learning style, you may have a better opportunity of getting it. Or, the person that's teaching, they're not going to teach, for an individual, they're going to teach for the class. But then when you get it in your time, you break it down like it best works for you. Right? So we're going to go through some of those, and I know that you're all probably familiar with that. But we're going to go through those, and it might resonate with you. The first one is in VAC, the V, visual. Some people just learn, they're visual learners. So are you that person? I won't say that child, but are you that person that if you go somewhere and you're trying to learn something, you're up front? You want to be to the front of that class. And they're like, well, why do they always go up front? Because you want to get right in there. So you make sure that you can see what the person is doing. If it's display, you want to make sure that you can see the display, because you're a visual learner. You need to be up front, close, so you can see it. You want the details. You like to take the notes. You like the color code information. You see that person that likes to highlight. They're visual. So when they start studying, they're going to pick up on that highlighting. They know that's something that's essential to them. And they might even like diagrams. But that is the visual person. Those things that I guess pop out to them is the way that they like to learn. So, if I got some visual learners out there, put it in the chat. Okay, the next one in that, of course, is the auditory. The auditory, you're listening. These people listen carefully. And so if you're listening carefully, you're the one that doesn't want to be like maybe in the middle of a class, because this person's talking, that person might be fumbling with papers, but you're intent on listening. You are trying to hear. I want to get this information. The tone that someone speaks in, the speed of the words, all of that impacts the person that is learning in an auditory fashion. As you know, I know I don't like to be in any situation, or whether it's learning or entertainment, I don't care what it is. If that person, that speaker is monotone, everything is just like this. There's nothing that gets excited. They don't get, put any incitement in there. If they're giving a speech, telling a story, it was the night before Christmas and all through the house. Hey, it was the night before Christmas and all through the house, So that person that's auditory, they don't want that monotone person. So if they have a teacher that's monotone, it's like, oh my goodness. They need to hear the emphasis on what's important, the words. They don't need you to go too fast so they can't capture what you're saying. And so that's very, very important. And I'm sure that many of you out there are auditory learners. You learn more by listening. So you may not necessarily have to take those notes, because, I've been in situations where people are like, you're not taking notes. You getting this? but they listen intently, and then they have a good memory, and they remember the content. But if you're up there and you're mumbling or you're speaking really low and they cannot hear you, they're in trouble. Because they're not trying to look up there at the PowerPoint or whatever. They're trying to hear the words that are coming out of your mouth. So you're messing them up if you're talking really, really soft and you know it's really important for what you know, and they're not going to ask anybody what you said because they're still trying to listen, trying to get it. So you have to think about that even if you're teaching. You know, I know some of my students are going to be visual learners. Some are going to be auditory learners. I have to make sure that I speak plainly, clearly, concisely. I'm loud enough. I know when to put emphasis on different things. I know when I need to put something up that's visual. So I got to make sure that I'm touching every type of learner in the room. Make sense? All right. The next group in the VAC, so the VAR, VARC, I'm saying VAC, VARC, is read, write, read, write. So these people definitely prefer text. So that auditory book, they may not want to listen to a story. It can be one of their most famous authors. It can be, they like their voice, all of that, but they don't want to hear them reading a book to them. They want to get that hard copy and they want to physically look at it and read the text. They love to take notes. Those read, write people like to take notes. And not only do they take notes, but they do something with those notes. They're going to go back. They're going to read over those notes. They're going to make sure that those notes are clear to them. So if it means taking that extra time to go back, and if your handwriting looks like mine when you're trying to capture it all, they'll even go back and type up their notes because they want to ensure that they have this in black and white. You know, people say, I want it in black and white. They want to be able to see it, read it, understand it, be able to go back and reflect on it. Because, you know, sometimes if you're writing really fast and you go back later on, you're like, what did I write? I don't even know myself. But that read-write person want that text. So they want you to write it on the board. They may want to see that PowerPoint, but they want to see it. They'll listen to you, but they also want to see it. And so if you're talking to them, don't think they're not paying attention if their head is constantly down. As I think about that a lot of times when I'm on Zoom, I know this person think, oh, she's not interested, but my head is down because I am taking those notes because I like to go back and reflect and say, okay, yes, I did understand. These are my dates. If I don't understand, if it's not clear, I might hit you up, say, hey, this is what I wrote in my notes. I wrote Thursday the 10th, and Thursday is not the 10th, that's the 9th. Which one is it? Did I get it wrong? So, you know, again, you got a whiteboard. You're doing a PowerPoint. Are you talking? Are you giving out handouts? What is it that you're doing? If you're in that classroom, or if you're in a serious teaching situation, that you're making sure that that person, that you are hitting every person and their style of learning, because you don't want to leave anybody behind. You don't want this person to have a better grade, have an opportunity at a better grade than the other person because you're basically teaching to their style, all styles. And so you notice if you're taking an online college course, you're going to have things that you'll have to read. They'll have videos. They'll have lectures. So they hit it all. I like that. So in our VARC, the last one, of course, is kinesthetic. I might be not pronouncing it correctly. Kinesthetic. And that is, hey, hands on. I got to get my hands on it. All right. And if you have a child and they don't like to keep still, they like to be up, learning, doing, hands on, hey, the teacher has to be creative, and again, in order to incorporate every child, hit every child. So that child likes hands on. So if they end up in a class and that teacher, that facilitator, that not so much with a professor, but they have them in one spot and they're not moving, so they got to listen. They got to see. So they got to read. But they don't ever get anything. They don't have opportunity to do anything with this. They're going to get distracted. Oh, your child doesn't pay attention. Why? What are you doing? How are you teaching? Do they have an opportunity to do things in the class? They're distracted. Not that they're not interested. Not that they're not paying you attention, but you're not allowing them to do anything. They like to do things, so they'll get distracted. This type of learner likes flashcards. So you may have someone young, like grandchild, child, and you're trying to teach them their colors. So you got a book and you got all those colors on that page, and you say, what's this one? What's that one? What's this one? What's that one? What color is this? And they get them mixed up. And you're like, oh, you remember the colors a few minutes ago, you knew green, now you don't know green. They might like flashcards. So you're pulling up that flashcard, but they're not looking at all these different things. They're looking at that one flashcard. What color is this? Green, red, yellow, purple, green. So you hold that green up again, they're not getting confused because they're looking at just that one card. And I hope this is making sense, because it was even like when I was like researching, I was like, yeah, okay, so yeah, I like that. I like that kind. So hey, that's me. Now, this hands-on person, guess what? If you are in an organization or something like that, this is a person that you want to get in your group. Why? Because they like projects, because they're able to get involved. They're able to give their input. It's not like somebody saying, hey, this is what you got to do, and that's it. They're able to get involved, get their hands on it, do something, make something happen. So in that, you got a project, even if it's something for school, they'll, definitely tell you this is what you have to do. But they may be the one to say, hey, can I create the PowerPoint? Because they just want to do something. And so they're able to put those hands on and do something. So when you look at, when I look at all of this information, it helps me. I work with children. I work with youth. I work with young males. I work with all ages, because I work with mothers, with sons. And so it, resonated with me. Hey, sometimes I got to do things a little differently. I have to shake things up because I want to make sure that I'm capturing everyone. So if you notice, a couple years ago when I started out, I was doing these videos and they were lasting hour and 15 minutes. That was too long. So I learned, people, they don't mind getting on if they like the content, if the content will help them, but they have other things going on, things they got to do. So if they have to choose this hour and 15 minutes versus this thing that I have to do over here, they're going to select that thing that they have over there. So I try to keep them now to basically around 30 minutes. That's more doable. So whatever I can do to make sure that I'm helping whatever type learner it is. So as you try to level up, again, you want to know, what's my learning style? Do you know your learning style? If not, there are Many, all you have to do is Google it, of course, Google University, and go out there and take that learning style test to see what it says about you. You may think, oh, I already know what I am. But go ahead and just take the test just for the fun of it. You know, it's free. And you might be surprised what it says about you. But you know, so you want that next level learning because you're never too old to learn. You can learn something new every single day. A word, a thought, a quote, something that you've been saying for years to find out that you're saying it incorrectly. Something that you've been referring to. Now you know where it is. You know, you might have been raised with your parents saying a particular scripture. You knew the scripture backwards and forwards, but you never knew what book of the Bible chapter and verse it came from. You just knew that. So it's, you know, quite different when you can learn something new every single day. And if you are a baby boomer or older, also, depending on the education level of your parents or your grandparents and how they said things. So they heard something and they captured it in the way that they would say it, and you didn't know anything about it. So you would repeat what they would repeat. And one that comes to my mind is my mom always said, "You're grinning like a Chessy cat." And so that's what I would always say, "You're grinning like a Chessy cat." Well, it wasn't a Chessy cat because what she was referring to, she probably had heard someone say it, but of course it was the cat in Alice in Wonderland. So it was Cheshire Cat. But I didn't know until somebody was like, what are you saying? Do you even know what you're saying? Ha, 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 ha. So it was funny to them. Well, it wasn't funny to me because I was repeating exactly what I had heard. But so again, I make that point to say that you can learn something every single day. Now, before I leave you, I do want to say this one thing. You can level up more efficiently if you have the right tools. So knowing your learning style is a tool that is beneficial to you. But I found this very, very interesting, and I don't know what I did with my phone, so I can't even show it to you. But this morning, my Snapchat had a number on it. So of course I thought my youngest son, his wife had sent me some Snapchats of the two younger heartbeats. And so, of course, I immediately went out there. It wasn't that, it was something else. So a lot of times I'll scroll through it. But this one really caught my eye. And I was like, oh, that's discernment. You know, God wanted me to see that. But it looks like a private school. And they're in some type of assembly. But they're preparing to take some type of a test. And this gentleman comes out. He begins to talk to them, and he says he wants to read a letter to them that someone had written. And I probably just butcher it all up. So go out there on Snapchat and find it for yourself. But in this letter that he read, it was basically saying that you have to give your children an opportunity. So in all those children out there, there was someone that was an entrepreneur, astronaut, a musician, but they had their hopes and dreams and things that they wanted to do. And taking a test, you get a grade. But how important is one failing grade on a physics test, I'll say, to that student that wants to be a writer, that's going to be a writer? But because they may have failed or got a poor grade on that physics test, then that parent may want to, make them feel bad. You couldn't even pass your test, blah, 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 blah. But you should encourage them and tell them, as long as you did your best on that exam, that test, It's okay. It was one test. But always remember that I'm behind you. I'm going to encourage you. I want you to be the best that you can be. I want you to be what you can be. So don't classify yourself by that one test grade or that one class. Think about what you have in your heart that you want to be and that you're going to be, and know that you're important. I know that you're important. I know that you're smart, and you can be anything that you want to be. And know that I'm behind you. So learning is essential. It is important. School is important because you can learn different things. Yes, you want to make good grades. Your parents want to make good grades because we look at that as, hey, we understand. But how many know sometimes you can just ace a test and you don't even understand it? You know, you might have a good memory. And so you're a good test taker, but did you really understand and comprehend the information? So for that next level of learning, know that it's important. Whatever you want to do, it's not necessary for you to have a college degree. It's not necessary for you to have that certain certification. But based on what you want to be, that plan that God has for you, hopefully, parents, that you will let them know that they're loved, you encourage them, and you want them to be what they are designed to be. But that was, I had to look at that thing twice. It just did something to me. So I hope you enjoyed that. And please make sure that you tune in Tuesday for Blueprint for Success. I have a special guest all the way from Dallas, Texas, Mr. Sean Smith. He will be my guest. He will be on. So please join us Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Blueprint for Success. I know that you will enjoy the discussion. And we're again talking about that next level education. So please, please, please join us. And as always, you know, this year we are declaring Jeremiah 29:11 over your life. God knows the plans that he has for you, and he wants you to have what? I know you know it. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. He wants you to have prosperity and not disaster. He also wants you to have the hope, the future that you hope for. He wants that for you. So please make sure that you design your blueprint for success based on the plans that God has for you. You have to put in the work. So make sure that you put in the work, right? And build your best life. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. So thank you so much for tuning in to Saturday Morning Real. It was my pleasure. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment. Love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. See you Tuesday.